we're going to talk about some examples here, just ideas of how you can pay off your mortgage early and the benefits of doing that. Hey guys, I come to you today. I wanted to talk about real estate and owning your home and how owning your home can really, real estate rather, could really accelerate your wealth building. And I know sometimes there's a debate, should you pay off a home early or should you invest that extra money? And I wanted to talk about that today. And I really want to speak to what I call the working stiffs, because I consider myself a working stiff, the average Joes and the ordinary Janes. I'm going to focus on, I'm really trying to appeal to you guys, and I'll tell you why as I explain this. But, real estate, I mean, I really feel like it can make you wealthy. And not even real estate, just owning your home. I'm not talking about necessarily being a real estate investor, although that could accelerate your wealth as well. But if you're just a working stiff, working every day, paying your mortgage, how that can factor in your wealth building, how it could really make you very wealthy very quickly. You can accelerate your wealth building. So I must first to say that I'm not a financial advisor, accounting, or anything like that. I'm just a working stiff, just like you guys. So this is just my opinion. Use this as just education, add a little entertainment, but just my opinion. So let's analyze this. Imagine that it's this huge $300,000 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, single family home. It's all yours. It's a big physical asset that you can see, touch, smell, and landscape. All in your name, owned solely by you, free and clear. You are the boss. No one can take it away, as long as you pay your property taxes, that is. That's another talk show. So, oh, wait a minute. Is that Chase Bank calling me? What do they want? Nope. Not the mortgage. No, that's Bank of America calling you. Wrong number. Oh, did you just lose your job? No matter. You will not be losing your home. Huge medical bills. I'm glad that does not impact your house payment. You know why? Because you don't have one. You own it free and clear. And that's the peace of mind that you could be at if you own your home free and clear. I have often thought how nice it would be to not have a mortgage to pay every month. If I could just skip 3 months of payments, I would take that. That would be one of the greatest gifts anyone has ever given me, to skip a mortgage payment, let alone to not even have one, because I've been paying a mortgage forever. What I could do with that money, I can invest it, take a family vacation, maybe a new car, build a patio or a deck onto my home. I don't know about you, but I have always viewed my house payment as a massive headache and financial burden that I wish I could just do away with. It is expensive. It always comes due at the wrong time, every month when I don't want to pay it. It is easily the largest expense item in my budget, and probably yours if you own a home. At times, it has kept me from vacationing, investing, and paying for my kids' college. But I just accept it as a way of life, something all of us responsible adults must do, I guess. Most homeowners assume it is impossible to pay off their mortgage early. With all the financial burdens we carry in life, I know sometimes the mortgage just seems like we will take this payment to our graves, or that our kids will take it to theirs as they inherit the house and the financial behaviors we pass down to them. It does not have to be that way, though. So I found this article where it stated that 40% of the homeowners own their home free and clear. And when I saw that, I was shocked to discover that according to Zillow and according to this Forbes article, that almost 40% of US homes are owned free and clear. This means about 40% of homeowners are not burdened with making that huge monthly payment that the rest of us takes for granted as our penance for the American dream, I guess you could say. I must say that I was a little surprised at that 40% free and clear number. From my perspective, I thought that number was a little high. My first thought was, how did these people do that? Pay off their mortgage, that is. Do we have that many millionaires out there who can just readily pay off their house? What is the secret sauce for these people? That's what I was thinking. I wanted to know. Well, what I found out was many of these free and clear homeowners pay their mortgage off early. And you can do that too. This is simple math and not that hard to accomplish. The secret sauce turns out to be a little knowledge, a little focus, and a little discipline. Let's say, take an extra $100 a month on a $200,000 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Call it 3.5% interest. If you just could throw an extra $100 a month at that mortgage, $200,000, 30-year fix at 3.5% interest rate, just an extra $100 a month, that would shave off nearly 5 years from the payment schedule, 4.9 years to be exact. If you look at the numbers and analyze how mortgages work, you will see that it is very easy to pay off your mortgage early and build huge sums of wealth in a relatively short amount of time. Paying a yearly lump sum of, say, $5,000 on a $200,000 mortgage, 30-year fix, 3.5% fixed rate, that would shave 13.5 years off the payment schedule. That's right. You heard that right. 13.5 years. Let's take a look at that. That may be hard for some of you to believe. Again, let's take $200,000 as our original loan amount. And let's say our first payment is October 2021, 0.5% rate. Oh, here we go, 30 years. Okay. So that's the principal and interest right there. Almost $900, $898 a month. $200,000 loan amount, 30-year fix, 3.5% interest rate. So as you can see here, you can see the summary details of the loan, how much you'd be paying in principal and interest over time. In 30 years, it would pay off in 2051 if we're in 2021 now. So let's just say if I put some extra payments on it. But again, let's just look at the numbers. I just want to show you how easy the numbers work to paying off your loan. If you could put an extra $5,000, let's say not a month, just yearly. Maybe you get a raise. Maybe you get your tax return back. You just say, I'm going to dedicate this to my mortgage so I can pay it off early. One time a year, every year. I'm going to say the extra payment is, I'll put it on the tax date, which is 04/15/2021. And as you can see here, I'm sorry, 2022 would be when you would first apply that extra payment. As you can see here, let's look at the summary over here to the right. Total time saved. You would have took 13 years off of that 30-year mortgage. 13 years. 13 years. Originally, you would have been paying it off in 2051. Now you're paying it off in 2038. That means in, a little over half the time, you would own your home free and clear. Not to mention all the interest payments that you are saving. As you can see here, total interest saved is $58,407. We're going to talk about some examples here, just ideas of how you can pay off your mortgage early and the benefits of doing that. But I should say, before acting on any of these ideas, okay, always do your own research. Check for prepayment penalties before acting. Make sure you have an emergency fund in place so that a financial disaster does not spoil your best laid plans. This is personal finance 101 stuff. Do not hesitate to talk with a financial planner to help guide you in determining your goals and selecting a plan that works best for you. Again, we're going to compare that argument. Should you invest? Should you pay it off? I'm not really here to make that point or that argument. There's good points on both sides. look at your own situation, talk to your financial planner. But I just want to show you the effects of paying a little extra money, how quickly you can pay it off, and voila, your net worth, which is your wealth, will grow much faster that way. So let's look at a few tools in our toolbox, a few techniques that people use to pay off their home early. Of course, you can make extra payments, as I just showed you. Some people, they like to put extra 100 every month, an extra 200, extra 500, whatever you can afford. If you have lump sums, I just showed you the calculator with a lump sum, a $5,000 lump sum once a year. You do that every year. So you could throw lump sums at the mortgage balance. Where might that come from? Raises. Most of you are getting raises, bonuses, tax refunds, from different sources. If you have a side hustle or something, these funds could be used, if this is your goal, to pay down your home early. You could pay your mortgage bi-weekly. Instead of one monthly payment, you can make a half-size payment every 2 weeks. This will reduce the interest you pay and will shave off years from your loan. You could refinance your loan. Now, if you can lower your interest rate and loan payment, it might be a good idea. If you could do that, what you would do is take any savings you realize on that new payment and apply it to the principal balance of the new loan. Or many people will finance their loan to a 15-year mortgage. They'll actually do an official refinance to a 15-year mortgage to reduce the life of the loan. But if you have a good fixed low interest rate loan, 3% or less, heck, 4%, maybe 5%, if it's fixed, because we're about to enter interest rate environment. We can't go much lower than we are. At some point, it's going to start creeping up. You don't need to refinance to a 15-year. You actually don't need to do that. You can just begin paying the loan as if it was amortized over 15 years, and you get the same effect without the closing costs of a new loan and all the paperwork and everything. So that's another way to cut down the length of the loan. Another option is you could downsize. Most of us buy too much house. Why? Because the banker said that the payment we have from the loan they gave us, they said that the payment we have was the maximum payment that we could afford. So what did we do? We went with it. We simply bought the max we could afford. Do you really need that much house? Can you live in a less expensive neighborhood, a less expensive house? Is it time to move out of your single family home into a cheaper, smaller house or condominium? Downsizing is another way to get rid of that loan quicker and build your wealth. You can house hack, of course. House hacking has become very popular. House hacking, some ideas is like renting a room. If you got a spare room in your house, you could rent a room. You could rent your garage. People do that. Heck, you could even become a renter yourself. If it is advantageous, you could move out of your home into a cheaper rental apartment. If that works for you, then turn your home into a rental and become a landlord. Use the rents you are collecting to accelerate the payments on your mortgage until it is paid in full. Now, obviously, again, you need to do the math on all that, make sure it works. Talk to your financial advisor, do your research on this stuff. Another approach that I like is opening a tax investment account to pay down your mortgage early. If you are reasonably assured that you can earn more than the cost of your mortgage and investment yields every year, this approach works well. Most people do this with low-cost stock mutual funds with long track records of good performance. You got to be sure you got to know what you're doing when it comes from an investment standpoint. You got to have a little experience and know what you're doing and have a good advisor. Because history shows that the S&P 500 will give you yields of 10% a year on average over the long term. 10% a year has been returning. So if your mortgage is 4%, open a taxable brokerage account that is targeted for the sole purpose of paying off your mortgage loan. This is because the investment account will build faster than the pay down rate at which your loan will reduce with the same dollars. Meaning if you had extra dollars and you put it to the loan and you put it to this investment account versus applying those extra dollars to the loan, actually that investment account will grow faster. And then once the balance in this account, this taxable investment account, matches your remaining mortgage loan balance, plus any taxes you would need to pay as a result of the distribution from the investment account, withdraw the money, pay the taxes, and pay off your mortgage. Done. Now this approach is going to shave another 3 to 4 years off your mortgage. And I'm gonna give you a reference of Jake Bro. He did a great video on this. I'm gonna share it here so you can see it. Here it is. He did a what I like about this video, and the reason why I'm referring it is, a lot of times when people are talking about finances and everything, they just blow you away with terms and their knowledge. Jake takes you slow. He explains everything. He diagrams it, writes it out, shows you the numbers. So if you want to understand that a little bit better for your own education, by all means, go ahead and do that. I highly recommend it. But also consider talking to your financial advisor if that's something that you just think is too complicated for you. So whatever combination of tactics you choose, the plan is always the same. Pay more on the principal balance amount than is due, or pay more frequently. Any combination of those two. You will be reducing the amount of interest you are paying, and it reduces the number of years you will have left on your mortgage. Before long, you will soon be mortgage free. So I want to include a few don'ts. Again, I keep giving admonition to do your research, to talk to your tax accountant, or whoever, your financial planner, all of them. Obviously, that's always good kosher advice, but some don'ts I have to call out. Don't buy a house over 30% of your budget, where the payment is over 30% of your budget. Again, I'm speaking to people who want to make this as the goal. This is your goal, to pay off your home, pay it off early. Try not to do that. Try to keep your payment below 30% of your housing budget. Why? Because if you begin with a manageable payment from the start, you will have more disposable money to apply toward the principal balance, which will allow you to pay off the loan sooner. And you will better be able to handle emergencies that will surely arise. Don't go taking out home equity loans the minute your equity starts to build in your home. There may be good reasons to get a home equity loan. However, if your goal is to pay off your home fast, you would just be extending the life of your mortgages with home equity loans. It's a mistake I made more than once when I was younger. Don't upsize the moment you get a raise at the job or you take on a new position at the job. This is the opportunity to apply this increased take-home pay to your mortgage and reduce the number of years to a zero balance. Okay, so let's play out. I always like to look at this in a practical way and think about, and I like to speak to what I call the working stiffs or the average Joes and ordinary Janes. So let's take a look at an example how this could literally play out. Let's look at a simple example of how this could work. Let's say you are a renter and you own nothing, no stocks, no bonds, no mutual funds. You don't own any businesses. You don't own any real estate. Meaning you're no real estate investor. You own your home, but you're not a real estate investor. And you actually don't own any Bitcoin. Yeah, let's do this without the magical power of crypto. Okay. Heck, you are not even a wealthy social media influencer with thousands of followers. You just work to earn a paycheck for a living. That's all you do. You come home and you take care of your kids, maybe coach your son's little league baseball team or volunteer at your daughter's dance class. Oh yes, and you pay your mortgage every month. Nope, nothing special about you at all. You are just an average Joe or an ordinary Jane. You are just a working stiff like the rest of us. And to help illuminate the example even more, let's assume you had no debt. At least you were smart in that respect. You have no debt, no assets, no debt. You're just paying on your house every month. Your net worth would be zero in that instance. Now play along. This will just make the math easier to conceptualize. Your net worth is zero. You don't have any assets. You don't have any debt. Here's how easily you could pay off a mortgage and increase your net worth substantially over a relatively short period of time. You look at your life and decide, I don't want to be a renter for the rest of my life. So you decide to purchase a single family home for $200,000. The bank looks at your financial statements and agrees you can qualify for a home loan in the amount of $200,000. For the sake of this example, let's assume no money down. You got a house for $200,000 you found, you apply at the bank, they give you a $200,000 loan. Again, I just want to work with round numbers so you can quickly get the idea. You find a home you like for $200,000. The bank gives you a loan for $200,000 to purchase the property. You purchased the home. Congratulations. You have fulfilled the American dream of home ownership. That is the right to give the bank huge sums of money every month for the next 30 years. Congratulations. Now reality settles in. You must pay that $200,000 back plus interest. You must pay it back to the bank over the next 30 years. And let us say a 4% interest rate. The principal and interest part of the payment is $954 in this example, what we call P&I, principal and interest. We'll set aside taxes and all that stuff. That is, you are on the hook for $954 in principal and interest every month without exception for the next 360 months, 30 years. If you do not pay off the loan early, the grand total you will have given the bank is a whopping $343,000. How much more? I mean, well, that would be much more than your $200,000 home price. So how to cut your mortgage terms from 30 years to 15 years in this example. In month one of this 30-year journey, your net worth is $0. And you are staring down the barrel of a 30-year mortgage. Here's how you flip this thing on its head and pay off your mortgage in half the time. Let us assume you can manage to scrape up an extra $600 a month, either with disposable income you have remaining in your budget, a pay increase, a promotion, by working a side hustle, applying bonuses you receive from your job to the principal balance, cutting back on the discretionary part of your budget, or whatever you can find, wherever you can find extra cash. I don't care. Just assume you have discovered an extra $600 a month in your budget. By taking that money and applying that extra $600 every month to your mortgage, you could shave 15 years off your mortgage. That's right. You converted a 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage just like that. But in 15 years, you would owe nothing on your home, and nearly half the time you would have paid off your mortgage. You would have, say, 15 years worth of payments and interest. Let's assume you started at age 40. So imagine if you were 40-year-old average Joe, by adding the extra funds to your payment each month, you would own your home free and clear by age 55. You would be perfectly set up to enter retirement with no housing payments and a home you own free and clear. Just think if you started earlier, say age 30. Let us assume you figured this math out when you were a 30-year-old ordinary Jane. You would own your home free and clear at age 45. Now, how many 45-year-olds are walking around with a free and clear house to their name? This has retire early written all over it. I wish someone would have shown me this math when I was 30 years old. The news gets even better. Let's stay with this 30-year ordinary Jane example. By definition, your net worth would have increased by $200,000. Remember, you started this journey with $0 as your net worth 15 years ago at age 30. Then 15 years later, when ordinary Jane was age 45, you wake up and you own your house free and clear. The $200,000 mortgage is paid in full, so you own a $200,000 asset. But wait a minute, not exactly. I made a mistake there. Yes, you did pay off your $200,000 mortgage, and you have no other long-term debt. But Jane's net worth is much more. Why? Because of appreciation. The average home appreciation rate is around 4% in the United States. Assuming a yearly appreciation rate at the 4% level, and I'm talking about over the long term, 4% over the long term. If we work at that 4% appreciation rate, your home's value would be around $360,000 the year you pay off your mortgage. Yes, after 15 years, your home's value would have grown from $200,000 to $360,000. And it just gets better from there. Assume Jane just keeps the property another 20 years until age 65. She's paid it off, and she's just holding on to it. She's living there or whatever, renting it. She still has the property all the way until age 65. The value of Jane's home would have appreciated further from age 45, when she paid it off in 15 years, from age 45 to age 65. It would have appreciated to a whopping $789,000. $789,000. It would be the value of that house. Best part, Jane does not owe a penny on her home. Plus, we never consider what Jane is now doing with that old principal and interest payment of $954 that she used to give the bank religiously every month for 15 straight years. This might seem like newfound money to Jane. Let's assume ordinary Jane finally learned a little bit about the value of an IRA and low-cost mutual fund investing during those 15 years of paying off her mortgage. Better late than never. So Jane decides at age 45 to begin depositing that $954 payment that she was giving the bank. She begins depositing it into a low-cost S&P 500 stock mutual fund every month. Historically, the fund returns around 10% annually, as I said earlier. If I tally this up from age 45, when Jane paid off her home, until age 65, Jane's IRA balance would have grown from $0 to $724. So I'm sorry, $724. $724,000. Add the mutual fund growth to Jane's fully paid for a home, and Jane enters retirement at age 65 with approximately $1.5 million in assets. Now we're talking about ordinary Jane. She never became a millionaire online influencer, never invested in cryptocurrency, never played in the NBA nor the NFL. And by the way, I love crypto, buy some crypto too, Jane. You'd be much further ahead. So, I like to look at the multiplier effect when you're making good, sound financial decisions. Again, this is hypothetical, but this is a numbers game here. Let's look at the multiplier effect when it comes to this real estate. So back to the real estate focus only. Let's just go back and focus on that, not any other investments. Consider that this purchase of a new home is just the one investment Jane and Joe ever made. Remember, we are dealing with ordinary Jane and average Joe. In this example, this was the one and only wealth move they made in their lifetime. But what is the likelihood of that? What if along the way, Jane educated herself on how to invest in real estate? And along the way, Jane decided to purchase just one additional home in her neighborhood for $200,000 to rent out to tenants. Maybe by the time she decided to purchase her first home, she felt like she knew enough about real estate and real estate investment to say, I'm purchasing one for me and I'm going to buy one extra home to rent. If she had the finances and the resources, the knowledge, and let's say she found herself in that position and she did that. So here she's starting off with two homes. One she lives in, one she's renting. Same neighborhood, same value, $200,000. She then used similar tactics to pay off the rental property early as well, to just pay it off early, just like she decided to do with her own home. Well, you can double that $789,000 future equity number that I gave you once everything is paid in full, because she would have not one, but two. That would be $789,000 worth of equity by age 65, 2 times for 2 houses. And what if Joe, average Joe, I haven't forgotten about average Joe. What if Joe started contributing to retirement accounts at work? Or Jane started maxing out her IRA? You begin to see a multiplier effect of growing your net worth and building wealth quickly. And that's the point. The point is, paying off your mortgages can be an explosive tool in your wealth building journey. So now, just carrying this through further, let's say now we're entering retirement with a free and clear home. We often hear the FUD around Social Security, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, as we refer to it. We often hear this FUD around Social Security and how you should not count on that check in the future. Benefits have been reduced over the years and will likely be cut back further in the future. One of the benefits of having little to no debt to your name is that you need very little to live on in life. Entering retirement with no mortgage payment will certainly put you in this position, as your home payment is typically one of the largest line items in any family budget. With no mortgage to pay, you are likely to find that your Social Security payment alone may now cover your basic living needs. Even at the projected reduced benefits level, you just will not have that many expenses to cover. If you manage to put a little extra money away in other retirement vehicles, like during your lifetime, you will find yourself in the catbird seat. I'm telling you, no debt, plenty to live on. Yes, traveling to Europe, Africa, Asia, these can still be in the cards. So, this analysis of paying off your home wouldn't be fair if you look at trade-offs. And every time you're making a financial decision, there's always an opportunity cost. So there are always trade-offs. You always must consider the opportunity cost of a decision. If you select option A, always consider what are you giving up by not selecting option B. As with ordinary Jane and average Joe, if you manage to find an additional $600 in your budget every month, and you decided to apply it to your principal payment every month to pay down your mortgage early, that also means you decided not to use that extra money in other wealth building activities, like increasing your 401k contributions at work, or opening and funding Roth IRA. You could certainly do that and invest that extra cash in the market. That would certainly benefit you equally as well and speed your time to financial independence. From a pure math standpoint, your wealth would actually grow faster this way, meaning taking those extra dollars and investing it into the market. If you're looking at it from a pure math exercise, that method would win out. And how do we define winning? Growing your wealth, growing your net worth. And people prefer to do, I should say some people do prefer to do exactly this. That is, they invest every extra dollar they have into the market, while others want to just get rid of that house debt at all costs as quickly as possible. And I watch people just argue about this all the time, which one is best and all, this, that, and the other. Yes, investing in the market historically over a longer period of time, mathematically, if it's a pure math equation, you do build wealth faster, a little faster. In my opinion, it is all a personal preference. As long as you are not blowing that extra cash on needless consumer spending, but rather you are using it to buy and own assets, you are winning either way in my book. I'm not splitting hairs here. Just build wealth, people. Either way, you will be further ahead than if you did nothing and just blew the extra money every month. My personal preference, I tend to be in favor of getting rid of the house debt as soon as possible. As Dave Ramsey famously said, there has never been a foreclosure on any homeowner who does not have a mortgage. In other words, the sooner you pay off the mortgage, the sooner you remove some risk around owning a home. Back to the math. The calculus is never pure math to me. And I'm going to put pure in quotes. The calculus is never pure math. And why do I put the word pure in quotes? Well, there are other considerations that always go into the equation. And these other factors can be difficult to quantify. For instance, many people I talk to who do not have a mortgage often says that it just gives them a wonderful sense of freedom to not owe anyone. You just feel different without that debt looming over your head. Others have told me that it is amazing how you will live and how much more you will invest when you know you are never in jeopardy of losing your home. There is a freedom there. You feel different. There is a different type of feeling people report to owning their home free and clear. A certain peace of mind, I have been told over and over. The thought of losing your job is not a threat to you because you know this will not turn your life topsy-turvy and put your family in jeopardy. People have told me how the same stressful job they have worked all their life just seems a lot less stressful when they go into the office every day where they pay for a house. You are more willing to pursue what you want to pursue in life when you know you are not at risk of losing your home because of a job loss or downsizing. You are more willing to try that new business idea you always wanted to try. You are no longer just showing up to work every day to, quote unquote, keep a roof over your head. Also, consider that housing costs will continue to rise. After all, it is an appreciating asset. Thus, owning your home free and clear allows you to stabilize your living situation as early as possible, especially when you enter the realm of financial independence and you are no longer working for a paycheck. You're living off your passive income. You will not be subject to rising rents year after year, like renters are. If you own your home, you can benefit from rising rents by renting to others if you choose. In other words, your home becomes an inflation hedge. Or if you decide to sell much later, all the profit is now yours. You owe the bank nothing, you keep it all. That is the side of the equation you want to be in. That is a nice predicament to be in. Again, I would reiterate, if you are just looking at this as a pure math equation, you would likely build your overall wealth faster by using the extra cash to invest in low-cost stock mutual funds and ETFs. No doubt about it. Many do that, and that makes them feel just as wonderful as those who use the extra cash to pay off their mortgage early. I know equally as many people who set out to invest the difference, but never follow through because they are not disciplined investors, or they just do not understand how to invest their money. And they do not feel confident about where to put the money in the market. So that extra cash just gets blown elsewhere anyway. You say you're going to invest it and you never do, you just blow it. These people would have been better off applying the extra money to their mortgage. That's easy. Everybody knows how to do that. You already have the payment, just send extra money. By doing so, at least they would have built their equity faster and owned their home sooner. My point here is know the trade-offs and do what puts your mind at peace. Invest that extra cash or pay down your mortgage with it. The rate at which you are winning is subjective to me. Whichever approach you are more comfortable with, do it. You are winning either way. Just to close out, I think the final thing I'll say, my message to the world, to the working stiffs, to the W-2ers, the 9-to-5ers is always the same. Yes, you too can create wealth just being an everyday working person. And paying off your home early can be a key part of that puzzle. You don't need to be a big YouTuber, business owner, or real estate mogul. You don't have to create a billion-dollar company. Creating wealth does not have to be sophisticated, and the average everyday working person can do it. What I continue to observe over and over is that without a lot of complicated, elaborate, sophisticated investing in business ideas, it is rather easy for the average person to do well for themselves. If you know how the numbers work, you are a little disciplined, and you stay focused on your goals. Without even hardly trying, you can still win and win big.